Hi, thanks for clicking on this video. I got an inside project today because it is cold outside and I do not want to go out. My previous video was me splitting wood, and it's a good thing because we are going through it. So we're making a Zelda costume here. I'm just going to go through the steps, the experience I have making these kind of costumes, and specifically the armor for the costume. Oh, beautiful little scissors here. Curious about their backstory. I'll embed that somewhere in this video, me fixing up those scissors. So back to it, we're making these shoulder pads, I guess, shoulder protection for the Zelda, I think it was Twilight Princess armor, and cut it out. So the pattern I got, I just put the paper on the subject, which is my daughter, the model, and just made it look good to her frame, to her body. So before we get too far in this video, these are some of the past projects I made. And I don't want you to get through this video and think this is not what you're looking for. So these are little arm protection, just some stuff, just different examples. So if this is what you're looking for, if you want this level, the techniques I show you, you should be able to get this yourself. So this is the first thing I've ever made. It's quite old, and some of these you may notice they're a little broken and well worn. But this is it. And then you got a little bit of a spoiler here. This is kind of the end of the video, but I wanted to show you again what to expect before you put 16 minutes into this video. And these are also the basic things you need. So foam, box cutter, adhesive, sandpaper, and some kind of latex sealant. Is important. This is all paintable. This is all latex, all water-based paint. The paint is not water-based, but any paint you want. I have spray paint there, whatever you're gonna go for. So, and then I'm just cutting out another pattern. So I want these patterns perfectly symmetrical, side to side. So I fold it over. Easiest way to do it, and it's kind of it drops down on the shoulder. So I will quickly cut this out and try to get the camera centered. You can see I have a little bit of a work surface there. It's been used a bit, and basically rough cut. Nothing too spectacular. These are just patterns to cut what we're going to make the armor out of, and we make it out of foam mats. Some call this EVA foam, yoga mat. Pretty sure it's all the same. It's usually textured on one side, smooth on the other. I want the smooth side. You may want to use the texture for your use it to your advantage. Some of this foam is checker plated, and if you're going for that kind of armor or costume, you may want to use that checker plate side. But I need this smooth as possible. The customer, in this case my daughter, she wants this to look as pristine and perfect as I can get it, which is a little more difficult. If you have battle damage armor, dents and gouges, to me that's easier. You don't have to be as perfect, right? It can be a little banged up. The goal is also not to make this look like foam. You want it to look like armor. And a few techniques I've come across, and I'll try to show you, to really hide the fact that this is not foam. So what I'm showing you here, rough edge. You can take more time cutting it out, but I find it's just as quick to sand it. Now, of course, you can hand sand it. Use some sandpaper. Very, very time consuming. But if it's your first time at this, it's you can kind of see how it works and how to get a feel of it. And if you're trying to just lightly put in some detail, hand sandpaper may be the way to go. But in the background, you see there, I have a belt sander. And of course, this is a belt sander meant for filing and sanding down metal. So it will go through foam like it's nothing, just like it's a liquid. So super gentle with this. Of course, using power tools, we all know we got to be careful. You know, don't get yourself caught up in it. Use common sense. Right? I'm assuming if you have a power tool such as this or access to it, you know how to use it. And get all those edges nice and perfect as you can. Yeah, we got to help her here. Something I didn't show at the beginning is a heat gun. Heat gun isn't 100% necessary. You can use a hairdryer. It'll just take longer. These are not expensive heat guns, and they have a lot of use. Their intended use is to strip paint. So the wattage looks about the same as a hairdryer, but they are way more powerful. So they crank out a lot of heat. I have it on the low setting, and you're getting as much heat into this foam as you can. And the foam has a memory, and the memory is flat. So by heating up, I don't understand it, heating up the molecules and particulars and things inside the foam, it forgets its memory. And if I hold it in that curve, the theory is it will stay in that curve. So I'm just getting a simple curve to go over the shoulder. Again, it helps to have access to your model, but it is my daughter, so I'm pretty familiar with how she looks, and she is around. I can test these things on her. So if it was fitting me, of course, it would definitely need to be bigger. And I'm looking for a bowl here. Just you know, if you didn't want to hold it, it doesn't take long. You can see it's already keeping its shape. And you may want to play with it, get the curved a little more. What I'm showing here, and it's not coming up on camera, is the foam still has a bit of an open cell texture to it. And by quickly going over with the heat gun, it'll close those cells, or it'll kind of seal the surface of the foam. So again, it won't look like foam. It's going to become shiny, and when you paint it, it'll make life easier for you. And now there's kind of I want to say a compound curve, like a two-directional curve to the shoulders, the upper arm guards, and I'm showing you how I kind of get that curve. Now I have a bottle of whatever here. This is medicine, but we have kids. There's lots of that in the house. So just get something, a jar, pop bottle, whatever. I don't drink pop, so yeah. Anyway, but so, and putting quite a bit of pressure, and this is kind of a cup that goes over the shoulder blade, and heat. You get a fair bit of heat. Of course, if you held it there, it will melt. It will burn your hand. But again, be smart, be careful. Hot, don't touch. So push down. I'm stretching out the foam and hold it there while it cools, and hopefully you can see that three-dimensional shape on your two-dimensional screen. But yeah, the balls is out there, and that's the look I'm going for. Now, there's quite a bit of detail in Zelda's armor, and I wasn't sure how to get to it. So you can see the basic artistry skills I have. I can still pull this off. So but it doesn't have to be perfect, and you can obviously see what I drew on there. I drew the design of Zelda's armor, and I'm going to lay down these I made a little foam strips with a cutting wheel. Again, you don't need this. You can use scissors if you're careful. I just have access to it, so it's easy for me. But I'm cutting little strips of that thinner foam. Thinner foam's available at, I mean, I got it at my local dollar store. It's just like, it's like a crafty scrapbook foam maybe. I don't know what the intended purpose of this foam is, but it's there, and it's pretty easy to cut. So we'll start out, and somehow I changed my shirt, but costume. So this is latex contact adhesive, latex contact cement. The French is really throwing me for a loop, but I live in a bilingual country. So if you don't know how contact cement works, I'm sure you do, but you can just ignore what I have to say. But if you don't know how the contact cement works, put it on both surfaces, let it dry completely. See, totally dry. It looks like you've messed up, and you've let it dry too much, and somehow through miracles, it sticks immediately, and you don't have a second shot of this. So just line up the best you can, and just I'm putting this detail on. Now, this is the first time I've done this kind of detail on armor, and it turned out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how things ended up. And normally I would probably paint detail onto armor. The goal, somebody told me this is something coming from the theater, is far from good, but looks good from far. So, which is really, it sounds kind of hacky, but I don't need this to look good up close. And this is, of course, for a comic and video game convention. I need this to look good from about 10 or 20 feet away. Because if people are taking pictures of you, if they're noticing you, they're just going to notice you from a distance. And they're going to say, oh, awesome work and detail. And, of course, when they get close, they know people know, right? So you can spend a lot of time making this look perfect. But I'm just trying to add some detail that looks good from a distance and make it not look like foam from a distance. I mean, if you didn't go to these steps, you could probably tell right away. So make your own choice. Some of these details are painted on, which you'll see at the end of the video, and I put on these kind of 3D elements. And I thought I'd take the time. It actually didn't take me that long to do, and this added a depth to Zelda's armor. I don't think I could have got by painting on these kind of inlays, I want to say. Kind of doily lookingness to the armor. So it's a very impractical armor she wears. It's just made to have her look good. So that is some things done. That's my club soda in the background, if you're curious. Delicious and healthy and refreshing. And I'm trying to show, I got a little edge here, little bumps. See, there's seams where things don't quite line up. I could have taken some more time, but you're always going to have a seam. At this point, it's still not going to be perfect. And if you're this far in the project, this is the detail that just pushes you over the edge. This is the step you don't want to skip. This kind of latex sealant. Mine is old. Like I don't use this stuff that much around the house. It's more for crafts. So it's a little bit dried out. Has a consistency of a very thick paint or a putty. There's other things you could use here, but this maintains a lot of flexibility. This kind of sealant. Yeah, I have a little cup of water just to. Again, mine was so thick I had a hard time spreading it, but a little water, and then it kind of smooths everything out. This particular sealant can be hard to sand, so I just spread it all out, and that's everything's kind of all the seams, any kind of grossness to the armor. Just fill it in, and again, when it's all painted, your eye won't be able to tell, and it just looks seamless. So You're gonna think I skipped a bunch of steps, but this is, I actually did this on purpose. I did not show you how I painted it because this is where I want you to take over. So it's just a simple rattle can. I sprayed it. I show some gold paint there, but I put on a base layer of like gold with a brush, and then I put the aerosol spray paint over top, and it just kind of gave it a little more of a sparkle. I have a little brown latex paint, and I'm hoping you're picking it up. I added that detail, kind of a shading, and I thought it just made everything pop. I also made this crown. My daughter did the other colors. I just did gold. My daughter is quite an artist, and she wanted to contribute. And it's just foam glued on to a dollar store tiara, and that's Zelda's crown. And it added some detail and things like that. And again, all this, it's just paint. So this is where you take it. And oh, the jewels, yeah, there's jewels on Zelda's armor, and if you have a daughter, jewels just kind of show up. So I honestly don't know where I got them, but she contributed that, and yeah, just a little plastic necklace there to connect everything together. And I'm happy with how it turned out. So good luck with your project, and thanks for watching.